When you are a leader, you must take. When you are a leader, you must take responsibility for the decisions that you have taken. You see, I don't want to shift the blame and say, ngoba kuyashisa now. No. But I understand what you said. Correct, 100%.
All right, thanks.
Just one last thing, at least on this aspect.
Yes, Chair.
Ms. Sillo and Commissioner. When I engaged you this last time, I said you believed that there was in existence a memorandum. And then I took you all the way through and when I engaged you this last time, you, in fact, my question suggested that you believed that there was in existence a memorandum of agreement. I want to temper that language because you know for a fact that there was no memorandum of agreement in existence. Not so?
There was a process that I started.
No, please answer, otherwise we'll take forever. There was no memorandum of agreement and you knew it, correct?
Correct, Madlanga.
And you knew that from the very first time you were the only signatory to that document, the intended memorandum of agreement.
For the CAT?
Yeah, CAT only.
Oh, yes. That one,
Yes. So when you gave this memorandum to Mr. Chris Steyn, it was more a case of you making out as though there was in existence a memorandum of agreement, correct?
No, it's not correct, Madlanga. You know, when you look at this document, there are two different documents. The other one is saving my only signature.
But is the content different?
No, it's not the same. The other one
is the content different?
Yes, can you go to both documents? The other one is saving, and you even raise it, my signature and Vus Matlala. And there's my signature.
Only his name, but
yes.
not his signature. But is the content different?
I wanted to say that, yes. The content,
sorry.
The content is not the same.
The content or the content differs?
Yes, the other one is saving 3
It doesn't matter. None of that matters, Mr. Commissioner, none of that matters. You have admitted that you gave that document to Mr. Chris Steyn. That's what matters.
Oh, yeah.
And that document purports that there is in existence a memorandum of agreement between between CAT VIP protection and the Metro. That's what matters. And you have agreed that you gave that document to Mr. Chris Steyn. So let's not go back there.
Okay.
Now my question is, you, having given that document to Mr. Chris Steyn, you were making out as though there was in existence a memorandum of agreement, correct?
That's not correct, Madlanga.
Why not? Purely because this one does not bear a signature?
No.
Why should that matter? Because you have accepted that you gave that document, signature or no signature.
No,
You've accepted that you gave that document to Mr. Chris Steyn. So why should it matter?
After that, your sentence says, when I went to Chris, created as if there is. Or in fact, I lied to Chris. Let me say so.
Was there a memorandum of agreement in existence? There wasn't. There wasn't. Not so. There wasn't. There wasn't.
That's why the
No,
document
please, let's not speak at the same time. There was no memorandum of agreement. There wasn't. Correct?
You are correct, Madlanga.
You have accepted that you gave that document to Mr. Chris Steyn, correct?
Yes.
And that document purports to be a memorandum of agreement, correct?
Yes.
So why would you deny that you were making out as though there was in existence a memorandum of agreement?
No,
a yes just must follow as a matter of course. Correct?
You are cornering me, Madlanga.
Correct? All right, I'll leave it at that. No answer.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, no.
That was for the record. Thanks, Commissioner.
Yes, and on top of...
apologies. All I'm asking is that you do confirm for the record that those who are affected, you
yes.
them.
In fact, even on top of that, he had this thing with Ngamla. When this thing is a PS, I will make you resign, man. You see, We had that. No, I don't want to lie. We had that, and I prayed for him. You see, the day, that thing. Even when there were bad news, I said, No, I must be honest. We were like, we were like.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I do appreciate the closeness of your relationship. You explained away one payment because you said you had a death in the family.
Yes.
And the other payments, what were they for?
Commissioners, I had many challenges, you see.
Yeah.
We discussed, not even these ones, as maybe on top of these ones, it may be these 500 that when you discuss and get, and you see, we discussed many things with Vusi, and he was assisting. He was a brother.
I see that they were over a period 5th of May to the 10th of December. I know that. And I know that the letter of intention to commit issued by Mr. Matala, you remember, Annexure JM 17 by MAPA, is dated the 15th of June 2022.
Yes.
The letter that gave rise to the registration of vehicles.
Yes.
I will argue before the commissioners that those payments were made in gratification for your efforts in facilitating the registration of the vehicles to enable Mr. Matala to fit them with blue lines.
No.
Do you have, let me finish first, because I'm going to invite you for a comment.
Yes.
And that's what I'm going to argue to the commissioners, based on the evidence and these amounts and the times. Particularly because when you started, I asked you whether you have received monies. You were telling me about Ngamla 500, 1,000.
I agree.
And then you stuck with that story until you just increased it slightly. I asked you to give me a number that he would have contributed for the funeral, seeing as for petrol and the like, it's 500,000, and technically you refused to. It is when I produced these amounts to you that then you allocated one of them potentially to a funeral. You refused to state when was this death. It stretched from before or after your suspension, and here there are specific dates. So on the basis of all that, I am going to seek to persuade the commissioners that this is in part gratification. I'm not even suggesting it's the totality, but at least we know that at the moment of that letter of intention to commit, Mr. Matala had started making significant payments to you. No. Do you have a comment?
No, it's not that. As I'm saying that, he even promised me far more than that. Even now, when we were not having, there was nothing that was happening. You see, he said, when I get this thing, you'll retire, I'm going to take, you'll find another thing, business and everything. And I was very happy. In far more than that, you see. Even though it didn't specify, you see. And I even said, I was praying that to get those things. I was praying that to get that tender. You see, so that I can start my own and relax, as you see. This is, in fact, to him, it was just nothing. It has nothing to do with that, you see. There was something which is bigger than this, you see. When there was nothing that is happening, nurse and other things, he said, no, I want you to start your own thing and retire. I said, hey,
may I be fair to you and ask you not to commit yourself too early? I didn't say that is the totality of the evidence of payments made to you.
Oh, yes.
I'm just discussing the payments in that period of 2012.
Okay.
So I would advise that you don't commit yourself any further, than you have on the scope. Commissioners?
Suggesting that a new method of conducting investigations cannot be piloted on a small scale before it is rolled out nationally, because surely you must first test a new method's success on a small scale. And then if you deem it successful, then you roll it out across. Are you suggesting that that is not the correct way of doing things?
Not really. I'm saying it is a correct way of doing things, but we should and could have done that some time ago. And at some point we should say, do it, because you have already created or established your murder and robbery, and long ago, but you keep on delaying. You must immediately do it, and there's no justification for you to postpone. There have been implementation letters, 2 of them, 2 assessments, but still not implemented. So it has been an experiment gone too long and not in compliance with the imperatives that we are facing now. So there's nothing, it's like going out there building a hospital, and then you put in surgeons and all the specialists and so on, and then the hospital all of a sudden does very well in terms of patients coming in and so on. But then you leave the rest of the population outside and you subject them to normal. And then you say to the public, I'm pleased that we are making progress and there's no other team or hospital like this one. But you know that all the other hospitals are not like that. I'm just making an example. And I'm saying that morally and ethically, it can't stand the test. And the longer we keep it, the more unjustifiable it is. And the experiment has been there for quite a long time. Now, I then moved to one.
I was taught English in my younger days. They would say an adverb. What does it do? It modifies a verb, I think, and an adjective qualifies a noun. That's the grammar I was taught. So your immediately is an adverb. So which verb in your sentence does it modify or does it relate to? That's where I want to be sure of what exactly you mean. Because as the sentence stands, it follows immediately after the verb disestablished. And ordinarily, I would read that to mean that you want the task team disestablished immediately. So the immediately relates to disestablished. So that's what must happen immediately. Now, with those views and a little bit of grammar insofar as I understand it, can you try to explain and make me understand your use of immediately?
It says immediately, yes.
Yes.
But then, because I understood that immediately is a process, it denotes a process, there would definitely be a process which the National Commissioner needs to speak to or respond to. It is immediately, but pointing to 2 futuristic events. The preliminary report, if you like, you would say, oh, okay, it's immediately, but not before the preliminary report is presented, or not before the UNESCO, because otherwise, what would be the meaning of writing, asking for a preliminary report, if it was not indicating a timeline? It was indicating a timeline. Immediately, the decision has been taken immediately. But then the process itself will be as indicated in the letter. Otherwise, I could have written this and stopped it immediately, and it would have given a different meaning. And anyone who says, yeah, what is any other meaning here, except exactly what it says, immediately, disband now and everything. But once you say it's like saying pending a preliminary report, pending the UNESCO meeting. But of course, that is immediately. And in the context of government processes, you use these words, but
it can't come to a screeching halt, as it were. It would have to.
Pardon?
I'm saying what you are saying, basically, Minister, is that it could not come to a screeching halt.
It wouldn't.
All right.
It wouldn't.
No, All right, Minister, thank you. I was
Thank
not,
you.
I was not interrogating you. I just wanted to understand your use of immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon again, Minister. Again, still only seeking clarity. I have difficulty with your explanation that immediately refers to you having made a decision immediately. Because I'm going to read that sentence. This is what it says. I therefore direct that the political killings task team be disestablished immediately. So my reading of it is that you were directing that something be done immediately, not that you were saying you have made an immediate decision that something must happen in the future. So if you can just...
Definitely, that is part of what immediately, in terms of the decision that has been taken, would mean. It would mean start thinking about the process, start preparing the report, start, aligning yourself with this or any other kind of response. So it indicates that even though we are not stopping now, everything switching off now, but switch on the process.
Does it also mean if you have different views, then engage me on those views?
Obviously, it will mean that exactly because in any decision that the ministry would take, you open it up for engagement with the management. That's why the second meeting after the preliminary report would entail UNESCO so that we have engagements on the matter to assess whatever would have come up from the preliminary report.
We will come back to the directive, but for now, I'll give back to Advocate Sil.
Still on the same paragraph, my one question has in part been asked by Commissioner Khumalo. My second question still on that paragraph, and I refer you to the sentence relating to the filing of the preliminary report. That sentence starts with a word further. You state further that a preliminary report in this regard be submitted. Now, in the context of trying to understand what immediately means, I would like some clarity as to further to what must a preliminary report be filed. My interpretation of that paragraph is further to the immediate disbandment, a preliminary report must be filed. I want to test my understanding with you. Would that be a correct understanding, or do you think I am completely misreading that? Precisely because you say further. It doesn't say to be disestablished immediately and that a preliminary report be filed. It says further, comma, so that has to imply it is further to something. And going back into the paragraph, I am trying to determine further to what. And the only thing that my logic tells me is further to the immediate disestablishment. So I just want to test my understanding with you.
I want to see this sentence.
It starts, let's start.
Observation. Oh, yes, I see.
Yes.
I see the sentence. Further, so I therefore direct that the political killing task team be disestablished immediately.
There, correct.
Meaning decision taken and then processes, but further to that, going forward, or note, in other words, then prepare a preliminary report.
Oh, so what would precede the filing of a preliminary report is the immediate disestablishment, which, as you say, means that to start the process of disestablishment.
Only.
Only.
Other than switching off.
Okay. I'm clarified about the meaning you attach, as I guess as the Commissioner pointed out, Commissioner Khumalo, perhaps we shall revert to this paragraph over the course of today and tomorrow. But in the meantime, I am aware that you have not completed your version, putting forward your version, and I'm not laying the blame at your doorstep, Minister. I accept that perhaps an engagement started earlier than you had anticipated to finish that exercise. So would it be fair to grant you perhaps 5 more minutes to wrap up to enable the process to move forward? Thank you.
Let me try that.
Thank
From then, that point, that is from 1 November 2024 up to and including 31 December 2024, did you ever have any other meeting that discussed the disestablishment of the PKTT?
We had a more or less similar meeting
Similar, meaning still a review,
on the 22nd.
still about a review.
Yes.
So effectively, or perhaps before the question I almost asked, Minister, what was the relationship, working relationship, of course, between you and the National Commissioner from the time you became Minister of Police up to the 31st of December 2021? What was the working relationship like between the two of you?
It was what I could describe as a very good relationship.
Very
Working
good, very
relationship.
good working relationship.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, on the 31st of December 2024, you surprise everybody within SAPS, in particular the top management, with your decision of that day. And you do this having a very good working relationship with the National Commissioner of Police. You accept that that is effectively what you did. You as it were, if I were to be metaphorical, you drop a bomb like that.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
Why not?
The reason is in the narrative that starts from 2019 with anticipated reintegration of the team that had been established, then extending. The narrative was always that the NPKTT, right from the beginning, is for 6 months. And then it gets extended another 6 months, then a year, then another year. But in the minds of management, in the minds of SAPS management combined, both from the ministry and from management, it is anticipated, it is expected, it is something that we should be doing, even when you now had teams functional, Med and Robert. But so, yes, maybe an element of surprise, but not exactly, because it's something that has been in the mind, has been spoken about, and it has always been something that we could do anytime, just required somebody to come forward and say, the time is this one.
Minister, the PKTT is in existence, and for the time when there would be interministerial committee meetings at which the PKTT would report, it was always praised throughout, correct?
Yes, correct.
And in fact, all of these meetings Oh, no, let me say most perhaps. Most of these meetings are post the one event you referred to, which is what was that report? The 29
report.
the work study.
Or the work study.
Most of these meetings go into the 2000s, and it's not just one meeting. They go into the 2000s. And the work study is in 2019, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It started in
So,
2018.
so beyond the work study that you partly rely on, the PKTT is being praised at meetings of the Interministerial Committee, correct? Correct?
Yes, correct.
Correct. Now you are suggesting that because something had happened or had been said in the work study, therefore, senior management of SAPS must have expected that you could just drop what I will continue to call this bombshell, even though they have been praised throughout, right up to the time of the last meeting of the IMC. No, they were actually expecting a disbandment. Can you seriously say that, Minister?
Come again, Chair, on the last part.
I am saying, Minister, right up to the last meeting of the IMC,
yes.
which was in the 2000s in terms of years,
Yes.
they were being praised.
Yes.
And this is way after the work study report.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, surely if they are being praised, Minister, they can't expect that, oh, but we're...
The rush,
Yes.
if I could use your words, Commissioner, was to give an indication that what was supposed to have happened before and the wrongs that were going on in terms of budgeting and so on, let us discuss those at the beginning of the year, but the decision is being taken that we disband, and so that we now focus on the decision, whether we agree, all of us, on this, or we don't agree, it would be fine. I was flexible and I was open to that decision, but don't postpone taking a decision at the time that you think you need to take a decision. And I didn't see anything wrong in taking the decision, but open and flexible to whatever that could come after the engagements. There are decisions there are instances where decisions have been taken and you say this decision needs to be taken in the interest of the public, and then we will consult. There are such instances that have happened in government.
Minister, I still don't understand that explains the big rush, especially if you say that you were open to being convinced that the decision ought not to have been taken. Why start with a decision and await a possible reversal if you are convinced? It just gives me the sense that you were in a terrible rush. So my question stands, why the big rush? Why this terrible rush?
I wouldn't...
I don't understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it was a big rush.
Issue and your letter later. I have a few other questions which may not be few because of necessary follow-up questions. General Sintumule told us that there are more than 10 task teams nationally. Do you accept that this is indeed so, Minister?
Agreed.
Thank you. Is there any other task team that you have disbanded?
There is a unit, not a task team, that we disbanded, the police inspectorate.
I'm talking about a task team, Minister. Is there any other task team that you have disbanded?
There is no other task team that we disbanded, because the only one that we could talk about was MPKTT, because the other ones were established by National Commissioner and they fell within his purview.
I'm not sure I understand that answer. I read your statement, Minister, to say that you can operate even in the, or put it this way, you say that this idea that you cannot play a role on operational matters is incorrect. You say so in your statement.
Yes.
And some of the operational matters would be matters that concern the purview of function, obviously, of the commissioner, and indeed anything that relates to whatever the national commissioner may have done. Would that not be correct? To the extent that you say that constitutionally, because you say that you can act even operationally, you say that comes from the Constitution. So constitutionally, you say you may engage in operational matters, correct? That's in your statement.
That is not to say practically go and constitute, decide who must get into the team, who must go and be based where. That is away from
No, Minister, no, please. I'm just saying, you say in your statement that the Constitution empowers you to play a role even in operational matters. Does your statement not say so?
It says so, but in italics.
Sorry?
It says so in italics, and I want to emphasize that it meant that you...
So you may all right, let me listen, yes. Let me listen, Minister, yes.
Yes. It was to say that while you have your constitutional duties and as identified by the Constitution, and the National Commissioner has his duties, but you don't operate with the Chinese wall between yourselves. It is the two sides of the same coin, as I indicated. Therefore, when exercising your duties, you are aware of how they will impact practically or, yes, practically.
So you are saying then,
Operational,
Minister,
yes.
oh, sorry.
Yes. Operational.
Operation. So you are saying, I'm taking you back to your point about not having disbanded any other task team. So effectively you are saying that even if a task team may be operating in the most criminal and horrendous manner, you would never ever disband it purely because it was set up by the National Commissioner.
No, I'm not saying that. There would be an engagement, there would be a discussion to say what is happening here, and let us discuss what we are getting in terms of what this task team is doing or what is happening around this task team, either because it gives us bad image or for whatever reason. Then we would engage, because that would be a task team established in terms of 11(2)D.
And if the National Commissioner dug in his heels, you would throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm not disbanding this task team because it was established by the National Commissioner.
Not at all. We would engage further.
No. Let's take you to the very end point where even you are satisfied that further engagement is not going to take you anywhere. So the National Commissioner is digging in his heels. You would throw your hands up in the air.
Not at all. It would
What
mean
would-
that we are now incompatible. And because the National Commissioner is appointed by the President, I would go to the President to say we are becoming incompatible with the National Commissioner based on 1, 2, 3. And then he takes a decision.
I will leave it at that because I was tempted to say, and then a new National Commissioner is appointed, and that National Commissioner is happy with the existence of that task team, but I will leave it there. Because I just want to test this idea that you can only disband task teams that have been created by whom, by the way?
Yes, you can only...
Task teams created by whom?
Yes, you can only disband the task team as minister.
Created by whom?
Created by first.
Because you, the minister, cannot create any task teams.
No, I'm saying this one, as I say, was not created by the National Commissioner. It was created through the intervention of the President, then the task team, the interministerial, and then deciding that there should be a mechanism.
But that's what informed the decision. But
Yes.
the actual creation would have been in terms of statute, and where would that be? It would be in SAPS, and it must have been by the National Commissioner ultimately. It may have been informed by what the President said, that filtering down to the IMC, then that filtering down to the National Commissioner. So this must have been created by the National Commissioner as well. Because statutorily, there is no way that something called an interministerial committee could, as a matter of law, set up a task team. That is not possible.
They took a decision, commissioners, that there should be a mechanism in the form of a
But
task
the
team.
actual creation in
Operation,
law, the
yes.
actual creation in law would have been by the National Commissioner.
Operationally. He would be operationalized.
But in law, Minister, it would have been created by the National Commissioner, in law. Yes, it would have, the creation would have been informed by the IMC decision, but in law, the actual creation would have been by the National Commissioner.
I see the
You see, what I'm testing here is this idea that in law, there are some task teams that are created by I don't know whom, and others that are created by the National Commissioner, and that those that are created by whomsoever, you are entitled to disband. But those that are created by the National Commissioner, you cannot disband. I don't understand that as a matter of law. Anyway, let me move on, Minister.